Welcome to Resident Evil Verse, or RE-Verse? Well, it's the brand new multiplayer Resident Evil game from the same company that brought you Resident Evil Resistance. In this game, you and 5 other Resident Evil enjoyers fight to the death in an all-out free-for-all brawl, with access to some of Resident Evil's most iconic heroes and villains. Now, honestly, I'm surprised this game released at all, considering it was meant to be released alongside Resident Evil 3 Remake back in April 2020. This game seemed to be plagued with silent pushbacks and dev problems, and I never thought that it'd get to a point where it was released. However, it is finally here, and since it's only a game with 12 achievements which shocked me, I set myself the task to grind every single achievement in a single sitting. So, this is my journey into RE-Verse. Welcome to the achievement grind. So the premise of this game is that you pick the hero you want to start the game with, each with their own special weapons and special abilities. You can choose from Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Leon Kennedy, Ada Wong, Claire Redfield and Hunk. In the match, if you kill other characters or die yourself, then you immediately transform into a Resident Evil creature, which can range from a husk of exploding meat called the Fat Molded, or a rocket launcher wielding nemesis. The strength of the creatures you become depends on how many of these special virus capsules you collect before your death. Don't collect any, and you'll become the Fat Molded. With one, you'll spawn as either a Hunter or Jack Baker, and with 2 virus capsules, you'll either become Nemesis or the Super Tyrant. And the vials can be a bit hit and miss. Some games are fairly easy to collect. I've had games where I've started with 2 immediately around me, but I've also had games where I haven't got a single one throughout. Now, the first achievement we crossed off the list was as simple as completing the tutorial, which took about 5 minutes. We then went straight online. Now, in the beginning, I did not play well. I threw myself into battles that I could not win, missed all of my shots, and didn't use any of my abilities correctly, or even at all. Which is something that I would very quickly fix, as abilities as the humans are crucial to you winning. I did so poorly in my first game, however, that I unlocked the I only like the creatures achievement for getting killed as a human 5 times. But getting an achievement out of the way did cushion the blow, even if I didn't know what it was for. In the next game, it was more of the same, trying my hardest to kill humans and creatures alike whilst grinding my score to hopefully become the winner. Now, that didn't happen this game, as again, I was just allergic to my abilities it seems, but we did get another achievement on the way. You're going to regret that for getting 2 revenge kills in a single match. But now, I was starting to get a little feel for myself, and get a slight sense on how to tackle the matches instead of running in just guns a-blazing. I took a step back and tried to pick people off in fights of their own, or getting the jump on them when they're not paying attention, and that seemed to work better. Now, after a pretty decent start to the next match, I pick off a couple of people before getting surprised and killed by a Jill myself. However, now it was my first time with Jack, and we love Jack. And by picking more and more people off, we climbed our kill streak until I remember that creatures also have abilities, and I was finally able to perform a finishing move on a hero, thus unlocking 2 achievements in the process, one for a 5 kill streak and the other for performing a finishing move. So we were already making great progress on the game, and doing it all in one sitting definitely seemed doable. At the end of the game, we also got yet another achievement, Mold Buster, for ranking top 3 in a game on the Baker House map. So I immediately carried on with each game, getting slightly more aware on how to play and unlocking even more achievements on the way. The next was Knock 'em Dead for getting 10 kills in a single game, and honestly I was having a blast. I was really enjoying this game. Until I met Hunk. Now, Hunk has 2 abilities. One is to more or less go invisible with a faint blue outline to him, but his second ability, Assassinate, is where the problems really started for me, as once I climbed enough in my MMR, every single game would have at least 2 Hunks in it. So Assassinate, as you can no doubt tell, is the ability to insta-kill with your knife, and when I say that this ability would kill me 5 times a game easily, I mean it. It was horrendous and I hate it. I have been stabbed in the back straight out of the spawn, I've been stabbed whilst Hunk has been fighting a completely separate creature. All you need to do with it is roll in their direction and press E to get the free kill. In hindsight, I was playing as Chris, and I wish I did read his abilities more, as he has the ability to become immune to death for a short time, which more or less is the only counter to Hunk's knife, other than a perfectly timed roll, which were quite tricky. But Chris's immunity to death is also an incredible ability that would be tricky to face later in the game, game. The next achievement, however, we grab is Newbie No More for rising our MMI higher than 1,300. And literally 1 minute after that popped, we picked up hehehe thank you for spending 10,000 RP in the shops. 3 wallpapers did it rather easily, and then we also got the final of the easiest achievements by ranking top 3 in a game on the RPD map. Now, at 10 out of 12's achievements already, it's time to tackle the last 2 achievements, and by far these were going to be the hardest ones out of the collection. The first one isn't necessarily hard, but it is a bit grindy. A rising challenger is to reach level 10 in the battle pass. Now, unlike most games, the way you rise the battle pass in this was to complete challenges and challenges alone. No amount of in-game time would push it, so we decided that we'd put that one on the back burner for now and do the harder of the achievements first, knowing that we would grind the battle pass as we went on doing the other one. Now, the last achievement that we needed is Raccoon City Survival Squad, which is to win a match and come first once with every hero. This achievement would be the decider on if I could finish this in one sitting, so we got to work. Now, as I mentioned, I was starting to dislike Hunk for this assassinate ability, as I noticed that Hunk would be at least top 3 in every single game I played. So I decided to try him first. If you can't beat them, join them. Now, up until this point, I hadn't placed first in a single game. I was close in some, but never first. My first game with Hunk, I won easily. So however much I wanted to carry on playing as Hunk for the easier games and times, I needed to move on, so down the queue to Chris we go. Now, at first I was struggling with Chris, a lot of close games, but none were really ending in my favour. That is until I realised how amazing the immunity ability was. Now, it didn't stop me from taking damage, but it stopped me from dying, so pop it at the right moment and it is basically a free kill. Once I started to use this consistently, it wasn't long before we ticked Chris off the list as well. The next game was Jill on RPD, and Jill is also a decent character. Her hot dog knife attack thing was more or less a guaranteed kill as well, as if the blade itself didn't kill them, the stun afterwards gave you plenty of time to put a couple more bullets in them and finish them off if they didn't roll away. After a close race between me and another player, we got Jill's on the first game as well. So, 3 down, just Ada, Leon and Claire to go. Now, Leon was definitely the trickiest for me to get since his special gun was a close range shotgun, which could be extremely temperamental. However, his dual wielding Q ability made up for it in spades, so after losing a couple more matches and getting more of a feel for him, we again managed to grind to the top and we won by quite a significant margin. With Claire, again, it was actually pretty straightforward. We got lucky with a couple of early kills and we did quite well as the creatures. However, the ending to this game I still find quite funny. Kill. Nemesis v Nemesis. We love it. Oh my god. Poor Nemesis. Didn't even have a chance. Now, the final character was Ada, and on our first match with her, we ate it up. With a couple of really nice shots to begin with, we started really well, but once we turned into the Super Tyrant, we destroyed the rest of the competition, to which I won the game with more than double the score of second place. And we finally have the achievement that I was most worried about, Raccoon City Survival Squad. So now it's time to peacefully grind the challenges until we can achieve level 10 and unlock the final achievement to get this game ticked off the list. So I sat and grinded challenges for another 2 hours. Some were kill dependent, some were pickup dependent, but after all of that we had one more challenge to go, which was as simple as to collect a single green herb. Easy enough. So we loaded into the final match. 1 green herb later, I was confident that it would be enough. And it turns out I got more than enough, as somehow I was able to complete 4 challenges on my last game, finally unlocking the last achievement and succeeding at 100%ing the achievements in this game in a single sitting. Now, my overall thoughts on RE-verse are a little bit mixed. I did really enjoy myself, besides a couple of things that I think could be balanced better in the future, such as certain abilities, and being stunned and unable to move in a lot of situations can be incredibly annoying. It really does have potential for a decent multiplayer Resident Evil. It just needs more characters, more villains, and certainly more maps, but they will no doubt come with time. However, even saying how much I really enjoyed myself overall, I am concerned about the future of this game. For some reason, I just don't don't see it receiving the love it needs to take this further, and without that, I don't think this game will last long. I certainly really hope that I'm wrong, but it very much reminds me of Resident Evil Resistance, where they had a decent foundation, but just couldn't do what was needed to keep the players interested in that. And I get the same feeling from this as I did with Resident Evil Resistance, so we're just going to have to see and hope that it can comfortably continue. But that is it from me today, folks. Another quite short one, but I'm quite happy that I did this in a single sitting. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a like, comment down below what games you want me to tackle next, and subscribe so you never miss another video as well. Also, don't forget to swing by my Twitch where we also go for these live. It would be lovely to have you, but that is enough for me. I'm rambling too much. Take care of yourselves, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
Thinking about the way I was, that the heartbreak changed me, baby. But look at where I ended up. If you wanna believe that anything could stop